Anyone who keeps up with the news is aware of the problems that have plagued the supermarket industry in recent years. Challenged by economic conditions, excessive union demands, increased competition, and severe financial losses, many stores have had to close. Growth in the grocery business has been slow, unsteady, uncertain. There is one notable exception to this trend, however. Food Lion Incorporated, a Salisbury, North Carolina-based supermarket chain.
I have shopped at other stores, but always come back to Food Lion because their prices can't be beat.
We've shopped at Kroger and A&P and Winn-Dixie, but after shopping at those stores, we like Food Lion a lot better.
I operate Pope's Restaurant, and the biggest reason that I shop Food Lion is because the prices are cheaper than I can buy wholesale.
I spend too much time in the grocery store, money and time, to spend it with someone that doesn't appreciate my business, and I really feel like that the people here at Food Lion do.
Last year we had sales of $2.4 billion, and we expect by 1988 to be over $3 billion, and by 1991 over $5 billion. So we plan to do a lot of growing.
Today, Tom Smith, the president of Food Lion, is welcoming hundreds of people who have gathered for the grand opening of the company's 398th store. Inside, each department is getting ready, making sure everything looks just right for the flood of customers who will come through the front door in the next few minutes. Putting finishing touches on a store that in the next 7 days will sell $333,000 worth of groceries to some 14,000 people.
We are all dedicated to keep prices as low as possible.
This new Food Lion store is located just a few blocks from where the company opened its first store in December 1957. It's been a long time since 3 former Winn-Dixie employees founded the first Food Town store, as it was called then. But they still remember.
Well, I remember very distinctly the day we opened. I think we all got to the store about 5 o'clock in the morning to be sure that everything was all set. And we were going out in the parking lot about 7:30, 8 o'clock to put pennants up in the parking lot. And it was so cold that our hands were numb and we couldn't even tie the knots in the pennants to put the pennants up on the poles in the parking lot. I remember very distinctly, too, that we were in such a hurry to open that our parking lot was not paved. But luckily, the weather was so cold that the parking lot was frozen, so we didn't have any problems with slush or with mud.
The temperature, as best I remember, was 6 or 7 degrees. The people that were loading the groceries were unable to stay out there. There was a brisk wind, but a couple hours.
At that time, I disliked and was scared to death to tell you my name in public. So I stayed up until about 3 o'clock in the morning trying to remember the mayor's name, who I had to introduce at the grand opening. I'd known him all my life, but I was afraid I was going to mess up on it. Well, it turned out the weather was about 7 degrees that morning, so very few people, if anybody, showed up. And I was kind of glad they didn't, because then if I made a fool of myself, it was going to be in front of a lesser number of people.
Did not see it ever growing to the point that it is now, or anywhere near that. Perhaps in your mind you're thinking of 12, 15, 20 stores or something of that nature, but never to the tremendous success that the customers have made it today.
I think we anticipated about 5 or 6 stores. And looking back now, it's hard to believe we have over 400 stores.
No way in the world that you can visualize 3 people, none of whom had a college education, none of the 3 of us had any money, that we could take this and do it. And we felt that if we ever got 8 to 10 stores, that's about all that we ever planned to get.
Today, Food Lion operates hundreds of supermarkets in 8 southeastern states and has been recognized by Forbes magazine as America's fastest growing food chain. And no wonder, opening almost 2 new supermarkets every week. Food Lion has grown from a small North Carolina chain of 55 stores in 1977 to almost 500 stores in 1987. Sales during the last 10 years have been impressive also, a compound growth rate of over 30%. The earnings picture, equally bright, a compound growth rate of 28% on earnings per share. And if you compare Food Lion with 10 of the largest food retailers in America, you begin to get some perspective on how dynamic this company has been in just the past 5 years. Food Lion ranks number 1 in 5-year sales growth, number 1 in 5-year profit growth, number 1 in return on equity, number 2 in return on assets, and number 2 in net profit margin. After you've visited a few stores, you begin to realize one of the things that sets Food Lion apart from other supermarket chains: standardization. The popular expression, "if you've seen one, you've seen them all," certainly applies here. It's almost as if Food Lion stores were created by some giant cookie cutter. Once an appropriate site has been selected, the company builds a standardized supermarket on the property. For customers, it's easy to go from one Food Lion to another. They know each store's layout, where the frozen foods, or the detergents, or the dairy section is located in every Food Lion store. For store managers and supervisors, this concept of standardization simplifies training, merchandising, and store operations. Food Lion also puts great faith in the tenet, do one thing and do it well. You'll find no drugstores here, or combinations of discount stores and higher price supermarkets. You'll find no stereos or hardware either. The company has judiciously avoided getting into other forms of retailing or manufacturing, as various competitors have. But Food Lion did not grow 10 times bigger in the last 10 years on philosophy alone. Food Lion has prospered because of a unique method of operation that combines low competitive prices on high-quality products and low operating costs. It wasn't always that way.
The first 10 years we had stamps. We had no stamps. We gave away Cadillacs, drawings, lucky number. We gave away a silver dollar with each $15 purchase. We even tried that. We had one store in Hickory that we sold everything it cost and added 10% at the checkout stand. Cost plus 10.
I can remember cartons of drinks selling for 5 cents a carton, loaves of bread selling for a nickel a loaf, and finally ended up with a nickel being stuck on each loaf. Take one, you get a nickel for taking it. And whether it was participating in parades or whatever it was, just like the beauty queens there, Christmas time, the Christmas parade.
We tried everything in the book. I remember we were so desperate to please our customers that even on a rainy day, we told the customers to drive your car in front of our store. Get out, we would take your car and park it for you. You do your shopping, and when you get ready to leave, let us know. We'll go get your car and pull it up for you so they wouldn't have to come in the rain.
During the first 10 years of operation, from 1957 to 1967, the company tried everything to get new business. They gave away television sets. And when that didn't prove to be a big traffic builder, they tried giving away cars. In the morning, people would line up in front of Food Town stores for breakfast, transforming parking lots into outdoor cafeterias. At night, those same parking lots would be the site of patio parties. Then there were trading stamps. Perhaps that would generate traffic. It didn't. So that idea was abandoned, and the company began sponsoring Little League teams, and the Girl Scouts, and the Boy Scouts. And in the summertime, free movies for youngsters with a Food Town cash register tape. You could even get a silver dollar with a $15 purchase, or you could enter a watermelon eating contest. a marketing strategy that was evidently based on the belief that someday a freckle-faced youngster would grow up to be a Food Town customer. And the three company founders seemed to get a particular pleasure out of welcoming beauty queens to Salisbury. But contests and beauty pageants, breakfast on the parking lot, and Little League teams didn't win the affection of repeat customers. During the first 10 years, stores opened and closed, and by 1967 the net result was only 7 stores and sales of $6 million. Even the Indians couldn't scare up more business. Then, in 1967, one of the company's founders, Ralph Kettner, had an idea. He followed up on a belief that every customer knows the competitive price of at least one product in a supermarket. So, what if the price of all products could be reduced all the time?
In November '67, I was reading the Progressive Grocer. This fella said that somebody knows the price of every item in your store. 5,000 people may know each one knows a different item, but collectively, basically, they're going to know the entire pricing structure of your setup. I took 6 months' invoices from the warehouse, went to the Manger Motel in Charlotte, and for 3 days and nights, I reduced every item we had in the warehouse, the price of every item. Now, we had roughly 3,000 items, so the average reduction was 10%. Now, the offsetting factor was what increase in sales we had to have to break even. I finally came to the conclusion that if we had a 50% increase in sales, we'd break even.
And he came back and he presented it to the board of directors and said, here's an idea, do you want to try it? So after listening to Ralph talk for a while, we were kind of frightened to death at what we're going to do, because he said we're putting all of our eggs in one basket. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, we may be out of business. Now remember, we had a meeting of all the brokers that were going to help us. We had a breakfast for them. We came in and told them what we were going to do. We were going to change every price in the store in about a 3-day period. And we painted signs as pardon the inconvenience, we're lowering prices for you. We put that on every person's back. And people came in to look see what was going on. And the customers became excited at what was happening.
This revolutionary pricing strategy began to catch on. Customers were immediately attracted by the 3,000 reduced prices. Even Ben Franklin showed up to proclaim freedom from high food prices. Volume began to grow, and as volume grew, more prices were lowered. 4,000 everyday low prices, 5,500 lower prices, 6,800 low prices, and finally, extra low prices on all of the items grocery shoppers buy for their families. By 1974, this new concept of grocery retailing had attracted international attention. One European company that became particularly interested was Delhaize Les Lyons, a Belgian supermarket chain. Unable to expand in Europe because of government regulations, Delhaize saw in the fledgling Food Lion opportunities for growth without the necessity of everyday management.
Delhaize was looking to invest in the United States, and they were looking for small growth companies. So they came to us on a very upfront basis and asked to invest in Food Lion. They explained to us that they were only interested in an investment. They were not interested in participating in the management of the company. It's been a very positive relationship. They've supported us. They've been very enthusiastic about our company. It's been a pleasure having them as stockholders.
Food Lion has always been an American-managed company, and each member of that management team, relatively young, with an average age of 46, has an oversized job to do and is very involved in getting it done. That means there's little in the way of middle management, and committee meetings are rare. Food Lion's centralized management structure also sets the company apart from other supermarket chains. All buying is done from one central location, and prices at beach stores are the same as in all other stores. That's very popular with customers who discover Food Lion's prices at beach stores are the same as back home. But management's mandate is not just to sell groceries for less than anybody else. To succeed, a company must keep operating costs down. And here again, Food Lion stands out among the nation's giants. It costs the average supermarket chain about 22 cents out of every dollar to operate. It costs Food Lion only 13.7 cents out of every dollar. In addition, Food Lion's published gross margin is 18.5%, compared with an industry average of 23%. An indication that our prices are significantly lower than our competitors. And as we have already seen, Food Lion still yields a higher profit-to-sales ratio than most of the nation's top food retailers. The company's low operating costs reflect economies from the warehouse to the front office, from the accounting department to every Food Lion store. In the warehouse, selectors are paid on a productivity incentive system, a base pay with additional income increasing as a selector's productivity increases. In the office, employees work on flex time, a flexible work schedule that allows many to work a 4-day week as long as deadlines are met. Employees in Food Lion stores work on a system of labor scheduling that is determined by sales volume and the unique characteristics of that store. After all, doesn't it make sense that a store doing $250,000 in sales per week would have different labor requirements than a store doing $150,000? And labor costs are further minimized because the company doesn't get involved in supermarket games, trading stamps, or other promotional gimmicks. Saving money on operations saves money on groceries. And Food Lion believes in letting the consumer know how they save the money.
This award-winning system saved us about $8,000 here last year. Multiply that by hundreds of stores, and it adds up to millions of dollars you don't have to pay for groceries. At Food Lion, when we save, you save. This little box is called a Trip Master. It monitors fuel consumption in this Food Lion truck. We'd like to show you how Food Lion saved customers $4 million last year. When a manufacturer raises the price of a product, other supermarkets charge more in the store immediately. See, the old price is covered up and a higher price marked on the can. At Food Lion, we never raise the price of a product once it's marked on an item. In Food Lion's meat department, we save you money 2 ways. First, we trim away unnecessary bone and fat, so you pay less for meat. No sense spending $3 or $4 a pound for fat, right? Second, we collect all those trimmings, 14 million pounds a year, and sell them to processors for making things like agricultural products. That amounts to $1 million a year we use to reduce your grocery bill. 2 things you notice about a Food Lion warehouse.
But all of the cost saving, all of the innovation, all of the keen management of any company goes for naught unless they have the support and dedication of their employees. And no one is more aware of this fact of life than the man who started his career as a bag boy in that first Food Lion store in Salisbury and is today president of the company, Tom Smith.
This company is made up of a group of people working together, all of the employees working together for a common goal. That common goal is to keep our company very efficient so that we can sell groceries for the lowest possible prices. And together we can do that. To me, Food Lion is a true example of a free enterprise system. The company can be so valuable to someone who wants to be successful because there are a lot of opportunities. Our growth makes it possible for them to grow very fast if they're willing to work hard and put forth the effort. We will do everything at Food Lion we can to help them. We've approached training from every angle. There's training for every job, whether it's a bagger, assistant manager, or what have you. But in addition to that, we offer a lot of training to help people improve themselves, whether it be improvement on the job or whether they're working towards advancement. There's programs that will be designed specifically for them to help them grow. We have the succession plan, which helps people aim towards management. It's designed to help them develop so that they can be successful managers in the quickest amount of time.
The growth in the number of Food Lion employees from less than 2,500 10 years ago to more than 25,000 today would present special challenges for any company.
The most important thing that impresses me with Food Lion is the training aspect of it.
But at Food Lion, we've taken special pains to make sure employees feel secure both on and off the job, with an array of outstanding benefits and a training program that is regarded as one of the best in the supermarket industry.
They take lots of time training you for the job that you will do.
Food Lion takes so much time into training, especially the management people. And I feel like it pays off in the fact that they get good people.
I feel like there are a lot of opportunities for me to learn more and to advance.
Well, I feel like it's been a growing process. You know, they're just leading me on up to it, and I see myself, you know, learning more and more every day.
In a recent survey of America's best 500 corporations, Food Lion was ranked 73rd among all companies in the United States as a good place to work, based on wages, benefits, working conditions, and career opportunities. A ranking that was far higher than any other supermarket chain in the country.
I have a wife and 2 little boys, and it's nice to be able to not have to worry about medical expenses because of the insurance, and the dental coverage is really good. And just the fact that I know that I can retire at a young age is what I look forward to.
I've worked at other jobs, in mill jobs, in town, as cashiers in small shops. And with Food Lion, I've got more benefits.
One of the best packages of benefits of probably any company.
We call Food Lion's benefit program a hidden paycheck. And last year, that paycheck amounted to more than $10,000 for the average full-time employee. Almost $200 a week in benefits, in addition to their regular paycheck. The average part-time employee, who averages 20 hours per week, or 1,000 hours a year, receives about $3,000 in benefits. An extra $60 a week in benefits that Food Lion pays for. For every dollar Food Lion pays in wages, they pay out 42 cents in benefits. About 25 benefits that range from annual bonuses to paid vacations and holidays, from sick pay benefits and insurance plans to discount rates for automobile and homeowners insurance. Those benefits also include profit sharing. Last year, Food Lion put more than $22 million into a profit-sharing trust fund that now totals $125 million. And when you hear from retired Food Lion employees what profit sharing has meant to their security, you realize what a tremendous benefit it is.
Profit sharing has made it possible for my wife and myself to do the things we want to do and have a lifestyle that we've always dreamed of. It's just been great, I think. I don't believe that you can find another company that has a plan as good as that.
I was a meat wrapper that started work in 1960. And I worked for 22 years. And the profit sharing meant that I could retire when I became 62. Which I wouldn't have been able to if I hadn't received that.
It's really like a savings that the company, you know, saves for you. And I mean, a lot of places you have to, you know, wait till you get like a retirement age before you can get that, before, you know. But with Food Lion, I mean, like myself, after 25 years, well, I got all of it, and it wasn't anything, like I said, that I saved. It was what the company saved and put back for me.
Albert Einstein once wrote, "If it can be imagined, it can be created." 3 decades ago, 3 men set out on a mission to sell groceries better than anybody else. Today, their dream is being fulfilled by people who are building the fastest growing supermarket chain in America. Creating an environment so that a cashier can become a front-end manager, a meat cutter can become a market supervisor, a stock boy can become a manager, and a bagger can become president of the company. In 1977, there were only 55 Food Lion stores. By the end of 1987, there will be almost 500. In just a few short years, by the end of 1990, there will be 800 Food Lion stores and 35,000 employees, and sales will be $5 billion. By 1996, there will be Food Lion stores in such far-off places as Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. And that small Salisbury company, who could boast only 7 stores in its first 10 years of operation, will be opening 7 stores every week, creating thousands of new jobs every year and countless career opportunities for anyone, regardless of age, sex, or race, who wants to get ahead. Imagine, if you will, the future that can be created in Food Lion's next 30 years. Imagine, because the future is now.